Hi, it's Will from sculpt.castle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as what? Epic Fantasy, that's right. If you don't know that by now, you have not been paying attention. This is my latest video. This is a really interesting and fun video, and it is how to make a coin from Game of Thrones or Song of Fire and Ice, depending on what you watch or what you read. Fun little project. It's not the first coin I've made. I made another coin from Skyrim. I'm going to pop in that video just a little bit to show you. That one was a little bit complicated because we made a rubber mold like this and we cast the coin in it, metal coins. Fun, but a little complicated. In this one I wanted to do it a little bit easier, but yet still come out with some wonderful coins. So what I did was I used some off-the-shelf kind of products here, Amazing Super Marvelosa mold putty, and a common clay called Fimo. This, you put it in the oven and you bake it and it comes out hard. So I'm going to do this tutorial in stages, and I'll show you how to just make a coin. If you want to make one out of Fimo like this, you bake it and then you have a coin. You can paint it. You can go a little bit further and you can make the mold with the Marvelosa and then cast yourself some plastic ones, which are just wonderful. See that? I made actually several of them. Or you can take, and here's one, another plastic one right like that. See it? Isn't that wonderful? I love that. Or you can take it even further and melt yourself down some metal and make a metal coin. Look at that. The coin of the Faceless Man, or sometimes it's called Arya's coin. That's just wonderful. So that's what this tutorial is, how to do all of those steps so you can stop anywhere along the way you want and come up with the coin that you want, depending on how difficult you want it to get. See? And this is just a common hot glue melting pot you can buy for $8 in an arts and crafts store. That melts the metal. So let's make the coin, let's launch into the introduction, and then I will show you how to make the coin of the Faceless Man from Game of Thrones. And on the back it says, Valar Morghulis, Valar Dohaeris. That means all men must die, all men must serve. Wonderful, just wonderful. Thanks for watching, let's do it. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure stays, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, if you just wanted to make a simple coin, you can use the Fimo and press it out into half the coin. This is half the depth because we only sculpt one side at a time. And then use some tools, toothpicks or some little pick tools to carve in the designs. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you wanted to do it a little better looking, you do half the coin one side at a time, and then you roll out very thin strips like this to get the lettering. It's worth the effort because it looks a lot better. So watch, I'll show you a little bit of that process. All right, cut part of a letter and you do each serif on a letter individually like this. You place it on there and you press it down a little bit. So you just write it out for the back of the coin. And that makes a bigger indent. It actually molds a lot easier, and it's better for the mold making. If you want to go make a mold so you can make multiple coins, do it this way, where you roll out the letters like this and you place them on the coin. Kind of fun, but you know, it takes some detail work. You got to really focus. See, I'm forming the H. But we do one half of the coin at a time, this side, and we do the other side, you know, as two separate pieces of clay, because pressing down on that would ruin the other side against the table. See? So I finished one side, and then I'll roll out the other side. And that way we can work on it freely without having to worry about it getting smushed. And then to get them the same size, you put your first one on it like that and then cut it out with a knife. A nice sharp hobby knife. And I think I'm going to show you a little trick here in a second to detach it from your table. Well, we'll take away the excess here. And there you go, two sides of the coin. Save that Fimo. The Fimo is pretty good stuff. Arts and Crafts store. Now, let's make the Faceless Man. Roll yourself out a nice thin piece like this. Draw your Faceless Man on him. And oh, here's the trick. Use a piece of wire to get that separated from your tabletop. Works kind of nice. Draw out your faceless man. There's a little hooded figure. See how this is nice and thin compared to the coin? Separate it again if needed. And then put that on your coin half. Like that. And then use some tools. The toothpicks works really well for this. You'd be surprised. You don't need any fancy tools here. Toothpicks can do a lot. You can cut them, you can shave them, you can trim them down, you can blunt them, sand them, round them. I love toothpicks on this. Not a complicated coin. Pretty easy to make. So go for it if you're thinking about it. You know, some nice crenellations around the edge. I don't know if there's a name for that. There's a technical name for that. I'm sure of it. And once you have each half done, like I did a half, I put it in the oven and baked it. And you can use a toaster oven as long as it has temperature on it. I believe it's 230 degrees for 30 minutes. You put that fine mold right in your oven and you bake it, and then it comes out hard as a coin. Very nice. Now it's kind of thick, so you can thin it down quite a bit with sandpaper, each half of the coin. Right? This is only one half. See the two halves? And once they've been baked, put glue on them to settle everything, to make sure everything stays adhered. None of the little tiny pieces break off. So a nice layer of glue to do that. And then glue your two halves together. Most glues will work for this. And I really enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun. And at this point, you could stop. Once you get these two glued together, and you have yourself a coin. And it's kind of nice. You can paint it silver and use it. But that's one coin you made out of Fimo, out of the Fimo clay. But if you wanted to make copies, I will show you how to make the molds and how to make copies out of either plastic or out of steel. And I'll give you some tips and guidelines for that. What products I use, and you know, where you can get them. And that's coming right up in this video. So spread a nice even coat across those two. And then glue them together. So this coin would be, you know, you actually put a little glue around the edge too if you're going to mold it, around the edge of the coin. After you sand it, I'll show you that. Nice. Can't wait for the next season of Game of Thrones. Alright, you can use files or just sandpaper for this. I use a belt sander because I got one handy. Just to smooth out the edge there. You know, round it out a bit, because it's distorted a little bit from working on it. And if you're going to mold it, fill the crack with glue so it doesn't, the putty doesn't get stuck in there in the mold and it makes it difficult to come out. You want it to be seamless. So put some glue in there and then smooth it out and then let it dry. I like it. Now we can use this one to make a mold. Amazing mold putty. Moldputty.com. It comes in two halves that you mix together. And it sets pretty quick. You only have like 2 or 3 minutes to work it. And then it's ready to rock and roll in like 20 minutes. Which is nice. Compared to the other coin we made, which takes, you know, like 12 hours. But it makes a better mold. So you mix it together really well until the two parts are mixed together. And then press it all around your coin. And you see that little piece of foam board there on that coin I put on there? That's not mandatory, but that is where we're going to pour the metal or the plastic in. See the white piece on the bottom? So just wrap that around nice, being careful with it. You want it to get into the indents. You want to press it against the coin, and so it's a nice fit. It makes all the difference in how good your coins look. Watch this. I'm going to stand it right up. And that hole, we'll take that foam board out and we'll pour our stuff right in there. You know, that stuff is kind of cool. It works. And I actually did maybe 3 plastic coins, and I did 3 metal coins. So it actually holds up. This stuff is good for up to 300 degrees. And we're using low melting point bismuth. You can buy it on Amazon.com at Rotometals. And that melts at 212. So if you get a little bit of buffer there, it doesn't ruin the mold. I'm really happy with that. I'm not sure. It's like 10 bucks for the metal, 10 bucks for the mold putty, another, 5, 10 bucks for the Fimo, and you're rocking and rolling. So once the mold putty dries, take your coin out. There you go. Now you have a perfect imprint inside there of the coin. So when you put something in there, a liquid, it will take that shape. First thing we're doing is making some plastic coins, something called Umu from Smooth On. It's the Smooth On Umu plastic. You just mix 2 parts together, mix it up thoroughly, and you only get about a minute. You pour it in the mold, and then in about 2 minutes, it's hardened into a plastic. See? Just fill it right up. In a couple of minutes, cut it out, do minimal cutting, just to get the coin out of the mold. The yellow thing, that's the mold. And get that coin out, and look at that, we have a coin. And it's not quite dry yet, but it looks good. We're going to paint it up, it's going to be terrific. So there you go, you've made a plastic coin. Clean it up. Amazing what we can do. Now let's do a metal coin. There's the low melting point bismuth in a hot glue pot. 8 bucks at Walmart. Put the bismuth in there and melt it up. Use plenty. I did this 3 times. And once it's liquid, we pour it right in the mold. And scamper more in there so the mold is full. Watch this, I'll use a tool. I think I use a tool to shuffle it in there. And wear safety goggles and safety gloves. You do not want this stuff to touch you. It can cause serious burns. In a few minutes it's dried. Cut away any excess. That's called sprue. I think it's called sprue. And look at that. That is absolutely wonderful. I love this coin. Look at it. Looks great. A little thick on the thick side, but I didn't want to push the thickness. You probably can get it a lot thinner. You just be careful with it so you don't crack the Fimo. Really looks good. We have made a metal coin. Imagine that. Don't you want to make a metal coin? You go right ahead and go for it. If you're under 18, get a parent or adult to help you with it, because you're working with hot stuff here. It's not play. It's you're molding metal. So use some tools to clean off the sprue, that's the pour where you poured the metal in, and it's real easy to work with. Cut it, file it, sand it, get it down to the normal coin shape. Oh my goodness, you're almost done. Thanks for watching this far into the tutorial. Do any filing you want. If you make a coin, send me a picture. I will put it on my website. And remember, I've got a Facebook page. I got a Twitter account. I get stormthecastle.com. I take suggestions all the time. Leave me a comment. So let's do the painting. Painting makes a big difference. If you have the plastic coin or your blue coin from Fimo, you paint it silver. Just a couple of coats. Looks good. And then you do something called wet brushing. That's where you take very watery black and you dab it on like this, and what happens is the black goes into the cracks and it looks really, really good. You just let it run right into the cracks. That's called wet brushing. And it's just wonderful. Do the crenellations around the edge. Do it a couple of times if need be. You do the same thing for the silver coin. This is the metal. Is this the metal coin? The metal coin or the plastic coin. On the back side, you let the wet washing black into around the letters. It makes them stand out. Valam Agulis. Valam Agulis. And that's it. Your coin is done. Thanks for watching. We'll take a look at the various coins. That's the plastic one. I made a few of them. That's the original Fimo one. You're welcome to use that one if you want just one coin. All you need is some Fimo and you bake it in the oven. That's it. There's the plastic cast with the smooth-on umu. And here's the metal one with the bismuth. Nice. Arya's coin. And you now have one. It looks great. I love that. Thanks for watching. Let's take a look at some other projects that you might like. From the upper left, forge nails into swords and then make the throne. Upper right is ice Ned Stark sword. Below that is forge a real fighting knife. And then finally in the lower left is the other make a coin.